We are less than a month away from the NFL draft, and the top 30 visit leaks are flying around Chicago like absolute wildfire. Some of the names walking through those doors at Halas Hall will completely shock you, especially when you realize what this front office might actually be plotting. Let's rip through this tracker and see exactly who could be wearing navy and orange next season. If you are bleeding Bears colors and want the most relentless draft coverage on the internet, smash that like button, share this video, and subscribe to the channel right now. Let us set the stage, because the anxiety is very real right now, folks. We are holding 7 picks in this upcoming draft, and 4 of those are absolute premium selections in the top 89. We are talking about picks 25, 57, 60, and 89 to build the core of this roster. After that, we have to sweat it out until pick 129 in the 4th round, suffer through a massive agonizing drought with absolutely 0 picks in rounds 5 and 6, and finally close the whole event out with picks 239 and 241 in the 7th. Now, here is the absolute craziest part about our top 30 visits, and it is something you need to pay close attention to. Last year, during Ben Johnson's first year as our head coach, we did not draft a single player from our public top 30 visit list. 0. Not one guy. That is a massive departure from the Matt Eberflus era, where we routinely drafted guys that we explicitly brought into the building for a closer look. Are these visits just an elaborate smokescreen to play mind games with the rest of the league, or are we genuinely looking at our future superstars? You have to wonder if the front office is just doing stealth recon to gather intel on other teams' prospects. The strategy involved here is incredibly deep, and it makes every single leak we get that much more intensely fascinating. Let us dive right into the trenches, because I am fired up about Zion Young. The Missouri edge rusher has been heavily mocked to Chicago lately, and frankly, I am salivating over the potential fit here. We desperately need game-wrecking edge rushers, and this guy is a physical monster at 6'6" and 262 pounds. He perfectly fits the mold of what Dennis Allen is demanding for the defensive side of the ball. Young can violently set the edge in the run game, and he racked up over 50 total pressures last season. The production is undeniably there, the measurables are completely off the charts, and his tape is incredibly violent. Now, he does play with raw, brute power, so he desperately needs to add some finesse counter moves to his pass rush arsenal to survive in the pros. But if he develops those tools, he will be an absolute nightmare for opposing quarterbacks. I firmly believe he is a very heavy consideration for us at pick 25. But then, we have the polar opposite situation with Ohio State defensive tackle Kayden McDonald, and this one gives me severe heartburn, guys. Historically speaking, McDonald does not fit the Dennis Allen prototype at all. He completely lacks that lethal, explosive burst to penetrate upfield and disrupt the passing game. He is a pure, unadulterated brute force run stopper. Yes, he is incredible at eating up blockers and splitting double teams. His run stop win rate is a staggering 13%, which is elite. But his pass rush win rate is a miserable 4%. He only had 3 sacks last year, and frankly, a lot of those were just cleanup sacks because of the immense talent around him on that Ohio State defensive line. It absolutely frustrates me to even think about burning the 25th overall pick on a defensive tackle who gives us virtually nothing on obvious passing downs. I would honestly hate that value. Now, if we traded back to pick 37, acquired more draft capital, and scooped him up in the 2nd round, I could comfortably live with that. Question of the day: if you are sitting in the war room at pick 25, who are you frantically riding on that card, Zion Young to hunt the quarterback, or Kayden McDonald to plug the middle? Let me know down in the comments below. Alright, let us pivot to the offensive side of the ball, because we need some fireworks. Seth McGowan, the running back out of Kentucky, has been turning heads during this entire pre-draft process. He is a phenomenal athlete who put up over 850 all-purpose yards on very limited touches this past year. He brings a punishing combination of power and blazing straight-line speed. Now, his shuttle times were a bit concerning, meaning his lateral agility and short area change of direction are not exactly elite, but as a one-cut, downhill runner, he is highly dangerous. I would be ecstatic if we took a late flyer on him on day 3 to inject some pure explosive juice into our running back room. Speaking of Kentucky, we also brought in his teammate, center Jaeger Burton. He is exactly the type of highly athletic center you need to run a lethal outside zone scheme. He climbs to the second level with incredibly smooth footwork. He reminds me a lot of what we have seen from guys like Garrett Bradbury and Drew Delman. He isn't going to be a brick wall in pass protection from day one, but picture this scenario. We draft him in the 4th round, let him sit and learn behind Bradbury for a full calendar year, and he takes the reins as our franchise center in 2027. It is a beautiful, low-risk succession plan. And if we are talking about offensive line developmental projects, you have to hear about Brian Parker out of Duke. He is a massive 6'5" prospect who primarily played right tackle for the Blue Devils, but he has been training relentlessly to transition to center at the pro level. Now, hold on to your seats, because this next defensive prospect is an absolute freak show. Ontario Thompson. When this top 30 visit leaked, my jaw hit the floor. He completely embodies the Dennis Allen interior defensive lineman prototype. We are talking about a man who weighs 306 pounds, and he ran a blistering 4.75 40-yard dash. Add in 30 reps on the bench press, and you have a terrifying blend of speed and pure, raw power. Allen wants his defensive tackles slightly lighter, in that 290 to 310 pound range, so they can violently detonate the pocket. Thompson is essentially a Dennis Allen starter kit. He is likely a day 3 pick because he flew under the radar, but I am officially driving the hype train. We also have to deeply look at the tight end situation, and Syracuse's Dan Villari is a really fascinating visit. He pulled in 39 catches for over 400 yards during his senior campaign. But if you want a proven offensive weapon, let us talk about Dazon Stribling, the wide receiver out of Ole Mississippi. This kid is an absolute warrior who has produced at 3 different major college programs. He dominated early in his career at Washington State, transferred to Oklahoma State where he was unfortunately derailed by an injury, and then exploded back onto the national scene at Ole Mississippi. He has 4 college seasons with over 500 yards and at least 5 touchdowns. He has great size, he runs a sub-4 440, and he just plain knows how to find the end zone. In a remarkably deep wide receiver class, snagging a proven, battle-tested playmaker like Stribling on day 3 would be an absolute masterclass by this front office. Defensively, we are obviously looking for some major insurance at the linebacker position, which brings us to Michigan's Jimmy Rolder. He had a very quiet career until this past season where he completely broke out, racking up 73 tackles and 7 tackles for loss. He literally lived in the opponent's backfield. With T.J. Edwards and Noah Sewell both trying to bounce back from injuries, adding a hungry, ascending player like Rolder to the mix makes way too much sense to ignore. Finally, let us talk about the most important position in all of sports, the quarterback room. We know we are bringing in Ethan Kaliakmanis for the local prospect day. The former Minnesota quarterback really revitalized his career and cleaned up his accuracy playing under Greg Schiano at Rutgers. Because he qualifies as a local prospect, we do not even have to burn one of our precious top 30 visits on him, which is just brilliant asset management. We also know the front office met informally at the Combine with Texas Tech's Baron Morton and North Dakota State's Cole Payton. It is incredibly obvious that they are targeting a late-round or undrafted free agent quarterback. Case Keenum is getting older, and Tyson Bagent could very well be playing for another franchise in the near future. We need a young, hungry arm to stash on the practice squad, let him absorb this complex offense, and potentially develop into our long-term safety net. The draft board is finally taking shape, and the tension is reaching an absolute boiling point. Every visit, every rumor, and every leak is a critical piece of the puzzle. I want to know who you are pounding the table for, so drop your ultimate draft crush in the comments. We are not stopping until the clock hits 0 on draft night, so stay locked in right here. Bear down.